Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to see the topics types of small scale fading. In the last class, we already studied about small scale fading. What is small scale fading? It is used to describe what is fading. It is used to describe the rapid fluctuation of the amplitude of the radio signal over a short period of time or travel distance. Okay, so we know if there is a transmitter and receiver, there will be various paths. What about the path? How many paths will be there? There will be number of paths from single line of sight path. What is a line of sight path? It is a direct path without obstacles. Okay, from a direct path to multiple path. What is multiple path? The sometimes the signal, radio signal may diffract, reflected waves will be there, scattered waves will be there. So and it will undergoes various paths, right? So these all paths create some fading effect in the system. So it is mainly caused due to the interference between two or more versions of the transmitted signal slightly being out of phase due to different propagation time. We know, suppose if consider three waves. Okay, the first wave arrives at the destination in the correct time. Before that, there will be no other signals reaching the receiver side. So after the first signal, after there be a consider 5 second time. Okay, after 5 second time, another wave is reaching the receiver. Okay, receiver side. Then after 5 seconds, another wave is coming from the transmitter side to the receiver side. So there will be some delay in the signals, right? That is called and delay in the signal. Also there will be some time due to the different propagation time. This is the this is the fading that is caused due to the destructive interference between two or more versions of the transmitted signal being slightly out of phase due to different propagation time. The phase will also be different here. This is called multipath propagation. So here the components that are causing the fading are reflection, scattering from trees, buildings, etc. Okay. At the receiver, the radio wave generated by the same transmitted signal may come from different direction with different propagation delay, with different amplitude, with different phase. Okay, these are the things how we know while transmitting from a transmitter to a receiver, there will be multiple paths. So due to the multiple path, there will be the direction of the signal will differ. Also there will be some different propagation delay. Also there will be some difference in the amplitude of the signal. Also there will be some difference in the uh, phase of the signal. So at the receiver side, what happens, there will be multiple signals are coming, right? So these multiple components are combined at the receiver side. Okay, so while combining these signals, that is the signal with different direction, with different propagation delay, with different amplitude and with different phase, what happen if we combine all this signal, there will be some fading effect in the signal, right? So it will cause the fading or distortion of the signal. Today we are just going to see about types of small scale fading. So the fading types can be classified based on two factors, based on delay spread and Doppler spread. We are classifying it. Okay, so based on time delay spread, the small scale fading is classified into flat fading and frequency selective fading. Okay, flat fading and frequency selective fading. Okay, here the condition, what happens flat fading. So the flat fading is caused if the bandwidth of the signal, we know we are transmitting a signal, right? That signals contains have some bandwidth, right? So if the bandwidth of the signal is less than the bandwidth of the channel, then it is called flat fading. So what is an example we can say? Suppose this is the path. Okay, this is the bandwidth of the channel. This through this we can able to transmit the signal. So this is the bandwidth of the channel, and this is the bandwidth of the signal. Okay, so the in the blue portion shows the bandwidth of the channel, and red shows the bandwidth of the signal. So if the bandwidth of the signal is less than bandwidth of the channel, if we consider this is the bandwidth of the signal. If we consider this case, there will be a chance for flat fading. So the fading effect will be low, right? So this is the flat fading. Okay, so the bandwidth of the signal is less than the bandwidth of the channel. In this case, the distortion, the fading effect will be reduced, right? So there is a proper channel for the entire bandwidth to go. The entire bandwidth of the signal will go through the entire have the space to go through the bandwidth of the channel. That is the bandwidth. Okay, so bandwidth of the signal is less than bandwidth of the channel. That is, here in this case, the frequency component, there will be some, we are transmitting some signals, right? So all the frequency components will fade equally. Okay, that is the thing, all the frequency components will fade equally. What happens if all the frequency components fade equally? The signal, the fading will be too low. Okay, so the fading will be too low. What about the case of frequency selective fading? In the case of frequency selective fading, the bandwidth of the signal is greater than the bandwidth of the channel. So in that case, this is the bandwidth of the signal. Okay, and this is the bandwidth of the channel. Okay, so what happened? So the bandwidth of the signal is greater than the bandwidth of the channel. So we cannot able to transmit the entire information throughout the channel. So it causes a low fading. Okay, it causes a large fading in the signal. Okay, hope you understand the concept between flat fading and frequency selective fading. Of the two fading, flat fading and frequency selective fading, the flat fading has less effect on the signal. That is, the fading will be too low in case of flat fading. So what in case of frequency selective fading? The fading is very high, since the channel bandwidth is very low comparing to the bandwidth of the signal. Okay, this is the thing which caused the small scale fading. Okay, so the next thing is the delay spread. In the flat fading case, the delay spread is less than symbol period. What it means? Okay, so we know we are transmitting some signals, right? So we can say this is the input signal. Okay, this is the input signal. Okay, so what about the symbol period? This is the symbol period. This duration is the symbol period. So in the case of delay spread, there will be some delay will be there. So we can say this is the delay. Multipath signals are arriving, that will be the delay case. Okay, here this is the delay. Okay, we can represent it as Z naught. Okay, so in the another case there will be some delay of this much. So up to this there will be some delay, then the signal is again transmitting. Okay, so Z1 is the delay. Okay, so what happened in this both case? So the first one, this one is the exact signal what we want to transmit. Due to the multiple path, there will be the delay in the signal. So the first delayed signal will start after Z0 seconds, and the second signal start after Z1 second. So what happens In the first simple, there will be a clash in the signal, right? So this is the first. So at the receiver side, these two signal will get multiplied. That is, there will be some array. That is, in the next case, these two will sum together. In the next case, this will sum together. So there is a full chance for the delay. So here the delay spread is, in the flat fading case, this delay spread, that is the z0 value is too low. That is, here this is the symbol period t, we can say this is the symbol period t. So the symbol period t is greater than delay spread in the case of flat fading. Here this case is the frequency selective fading. Okay, so if we consider the delay spread, what happened in the first flat fading case, there will be no z0 or z1, it will be very less than t naught value, t value. Okay, that the thing can happen. And if we consider the frequency selective fading, this delay spread is greater than the symbol period. Okay, hope you understand the concept of this small scale fading. So first, flat fading, the bandwidth of the signal will be less than the bandwidth of the channel, so there is a chance for fading effect. And in the second one, delay spread less than symbol period. Okay, what is the delay spread less than symbol period? If the time duration for sending a wave, okay, sending a signal is represented as the symbol period. So if the delay spread is less than, very less than the symbol period, means there will be no fading effect. Okay, we can eliminate such fading. Okay, that is the case of flat fading. So this flat fading is it has a very low effect on the signal. Okay, there will be no such signal interference. Okay, so what about in the case of frequency selective fading? There will be many problems in the frequency selective fading, since the bandwidth of the signal is greater than the bandwidth of the channel. Also, there will be some delay spread which is greater than the symbol period. Okay, uh, symbol period, we in the figure we represented it as t, right? So if the delay spread is greater than that t, means there will be some variation in the signal when we combine the signal at the receiver side. Okay, that is the case of frequency selective fading, and it has much more effect on the received signal while we are transmitting. Okay, so this is the flat fading as well as the frequency selective fading. So what are the types of fading? Depending on the relation between the signal parameter. Here just we are considering the various parameters, bandwidth and symbol period, and channel parameters, that is delay spread and Doppler spread. So different signals will undergo different types of fading. So based on the delay spread, the types of small scale fading are flat fading and frequency selective fading. And based on the Doppler spread, the types of small scale fading are fast fading as well as slow fading. Okay, this is the flat fading. So here the case is all the frequency components will fade equally. Okay, what happens when all the frequency components fade equally? It is a will fade in a constant way, right? So there will be no chance of low variation in the signal due to this fading effect. So this flat fading occurs when the amplitude of the received signal changes with time. Okay, it occurs when the symbol period of the transmitted signal. Okay, what about the symbol period? That is Ts is much greater than the Doppler spread of the channel. Okay, sorry, delay spread of the channel, that is Ts. T is greater than sigma tau. This is the condition here, that is the symbol period Ts is greater than the delay spread of the channel. Okay, So in this case, here the case is bandwidth of the signal is narrow. We know the bandwidth of the signal is less than the bandwidth of the channel. So we can say that the bandwidth of the applied signal is narrow in this case. So here in this case, the channel has a flat transfer function with almost linear phase, thus affecting all spectral components of the signal in the same way that we will see in the next figure. It will cause deep fades, increase the transmitted power to combat this situation. Sometimes this fading will cause deep fades, so what we have to do to overcome that, we have to increase the transmitted power. Okay, increasing the transmit power will reduce this flat fading. Okay, that if we send the strong signals means what, the effect of this fading will be very low. Okay, so here the main thing is all the frequency component will fade equally, so that the name flat fading equally, that is signals are fading, so we can say it is a flat fading. Okay, this figure shows the flat fading. So in the first one, SOT is the signal, transmitted signal. It will pass through the channel, then channel h of t comma tau. There it will undergo some delay profile, that is denoted as tau. Okay, t comma tau. Then it will reach the receiver side at r of t. Okay, so here in this case, this consider this figure. Okay, the last row, we can say S of f is the input signal. Okay, so after then this is the flat channel. Okay, it undergoes the flat channel, that is the impulse response of the channel. So after at the receiver side also we are getting the same signal as the transmitted signal. Okay, we are just getting the same signal as the transmitted signal. Okay, so here the channel impulse response is considered as flat. Here it is flat, so we are just getting the same signal as the transmitted signal. That is the case where the flat fading, that is here the fading effect have less impact on the less impact on the received signal. That is the, we can ignore that fading if we transmit the high power if we increase the transmitted power. Okay, that is the case of the flat fading. Okay, so next one, frequency selective fading. What causes frequency selective fading? And the flat fading we can also call it as frequency non-selective fading. Okay, so next case, what is frequency selective fading? A channel is not if a channel is not a flat fading channel, we can say it as a frequency selective fading. What is the thing here? Here in the last case, all the frequency components will fade equally. What is in this case? Here the some frequency signal fade more and some signal will fade less. This is the signal will this is the condition that happens here. We know we are transmitting a signal. In that signal, at some frequency level, the fading will be more, and in some cases the fading has less effect on the signal. That is in this case. Okay, that is here the different frequencies within a signal are attenuated differently by the MRC. Okay, it occurs when the channel multipath delay spread is greater than symbol PD. Delay spread, what is delay spread? Tau del. Okay, tau sigma tau is sigma tau is greater than, right? Sigma tau is greater than TS. This is the case. Okay, so if the delay spread of the channel delay spread is greater than the symbol period, we can say it as the frequency selective fading. Also here the channel induces intersymbol interfaces. There we know it will cause the intersymbol interference of the signal. Okay. Here the bandwidth of the signal S of t is wider than the channel impulse response. We know in the case of flat fading it is narrow, right? So in the case of frequency selective fading, this what about this channel bandwidth? Channel bandwidth is less comparing to the signal bandwidth. Okay, so that is the case here. Bandwidth of the signal is wider than the channel impulse response. So the main cause of frequency selective fading is some frequency signal fade more and some fade less. Okay, that is the case of frequency selective fading. So this is the figure shows the frequency selective fading. So in this case just consider this figure. Okay, so here is the case. Okay, what happens here in the last flat fading, this channel is flat. What about here in this case, there will be some variation in the frequency of the signal, that is all some frequency signal fade more and some frequency level will fade less. Okay, that is the thing happened here. So what happens here, just compare the transmitted signal. This is the transmitted signal and this is the receiver signal. What happens if this transmitted signal goes through a uh, this uh, this channel? It will cause some deep fade in this signal because all the frequency component. What happens to frequency components? Some frequency components have deep fade, some have no fade. Like this, something will happen. So it will cause the frequency selective fading. When we get the received signal also, this effect due to the variation of the fading cause the signal cause the variation in the received signal. Here the received signal is not what we are transmitted. Okay, there will be some variation in this case of frequency selective fading. So what about, sorry, this is a flat frequency selective fading. Okay, so here in this frequency selective fading, the rate of change of channel characters is large than the rate of change of transmitted signal. Okay, here we know we are transmitting a signal, and the channel rate changing of the channel characteristics is large when we are comparing to the transmitted signal. Okay, so here the channel changes due to the simple period, this also because of the receiver motion. Okay, coherence time of the channel is smaller than the simple period of the transmitter signal. This causes frequency dispersion due to Doppler spreading, which leads to signal distortion. Okay, this viewed in the frequency domain, signal will distortion due to the fast fading increases with increasing Doppler spread relative to the bandwidth of the transmitted signal. Next type of fading, what about that is fading based on Doppler spread. What is fading based on Doppler spread? It is of two types: slow fading and fast fading. Okay, so what is slow fading? Here just we can say here slow fading and fast fading based on the speed. Okay, so if the speed is slow, if the receiver moving speed is slow, means that it causes slow fading, and if it is move faster, means we can say it as a fast fading. Okay, at okay, slow fading, the rate of change of channel characteristics much small much smaller than the rate of change of the transmitted signal. So here the change of the channel character is much smaller than the rate of change of the transmitted signal. Okay, here in the case of slow fading channel, the channel impulse response changes at a rate much slower than the transmitted baseband signal. Okay, here the channel change of channel impulse response is much slower than the transmitted baseband signal. Here in this case, the channel may be assumed to be static over one or several reciprocal bandwidth. Here we can say it may based on the coherence time. If the coherence time is greater than the symbol period, we can say it as a slow fading. Okay, that is the condition here. That is Ts is less than Tc. That's the coherence time. Coherence time is greater than symbol period. Okay. What is coherence time? We already studied about coherence time. What is coherence time? It is the time duration over which to receive a signal have a strong potential for amplitude correlation. Okay, that is the coherence time. So here the main condition is Ts less than Tc. Okay, that is the coherence time. Okay, here also bandwidth of the signal is greater than Doppler spread. Okay, bandwidth of the signal is greater than the Doppler spread. That is the case in this case of slow fading. Okay, fast fading. What is fast fading? Here if the vehicle is moving fast, okay, we can say the signal will fade fastly. Okay, so the rate of change of the channel characteristics is large. Okay, rate of changing of the channel characteristics is large, then we can say larger than the rate of change of the transmitted signal, then we can say it as a fast fading. So here the case is the channel changes during a simple period because of the receiver motions, right? So the coherence time of the channel is smaller than the simple period of the transmitted signal. So here the coherence time Tc is less than Ts. Okay, Ts will be greater than Tc. Also, that is the coherence time is less than symbol period. Okay, also the signal bandwidth is less than Bd. That what is Bd? Doppler spread. This is the case in this fast fading. This causes frequency dispersion due to Doppler spreading. What is a Doppler spread? It is the broadening of the signal. Okay, due to the changes in the signal, there will be some variation in the signal level frequency component. Okay, this which leads to signal distortion. Okay, viewed in the frequency domain, the signal distortion due to fast fading increases with increasing Doppler spread relative to the bandwidth of the transmitted signal. Okay, this is the case of the fast fading. Here this figure shows the relation between the various multipath parameters and the type of the fading. So based on the transmitted symbol period, and the first figure just shows the transmitted symbol period and symbol period of transmitting symbol period. Okay, so in that case Ts. Okay, so if the coherence time is less than the symbol period, here they are just considering sigma tau and Tc. Okay, What is sigma tau? That is the delay spread. Okay, considering the delay spread and coherence time. Okay, these are the case. Just go through this diagram. In the second figure, it just shows the BD. What is BD? Doppler spread, and BZ is the bandwidth of the signal. Sorry, bandwidth of the channel. BC is the bandwidth of the channel and BD is the Doppler spread. Okay, so these are the types of fading which may cause due to the variation in the Doppler spread, coherence bandwidth, delay spread, and channel bandwidth. Okay, just go through it. Thank you, dear students. Hope you all understand the type of small scale fading. If you have any doubt, you have to ask it to me. Okay, after. Okay.